In our daily lives we use trust all the time. You trust that the person watching your house will lock the door when they leave. You trust that a package delivered to your porch will be safe. This idea of trust is simple. Once someone is inside our circle of safety, we believe they will do the right thing. For many years, this was also how we protected our computer systems and digital information. We built a strong wall around our entire network. This wall was like a castle's main gate, complete with a deep moat and tall towers. The goal was to keep bad actors, or attackers, on the outside. We thought that if we could keep them out, everything inside would be safe. This old way of thinking is called the perimeter model. Imagine a company's office building. The main security is at the front door. Once you are inside the building, you can walk around freely. You can go into different offices, access the file room and use the shared printers. No one asks for your identification again. The system trusts you completely simply because you made it past the initial check. Computer networks operated in the exact same way. Once a user logged in from inside the office, they were given broad access to files, applications, and data. The system assumed they were a trusted person who would not cause any harm. This model worked well enough when everyone worked in one physical office. The digital castle was easy to define. But what happens when the people you trust are not who they seem to be? What if a bad actor manages to get past the main gate? In the old security model, this was a disaster. Once inside, the attacker could move around without being challenged. They could access sensitive information, damage systems, and steal data because the internal network had no further checks. It was like leaving all the doors to the treasure rooms unlocked, assuming the front gate guard would never fail. This created a huge, vulnerable area inside the supposedly secure walls. The fundamental flaw was the concept of automatic trust. The system was built on a simple binary choice. You were either outside and untrusted, or you were inside and completely trusted. There was no in-between. This is like saying that anyone who has a key to your house should also have the key to your safe, your car, and your diary. It gives too much power based on a single point of entry. As technology changed and people started working from home, coffee shops, and airports, the idea of a single secure inside of the network disappeared. The castle walls crumbled, and we needed a new, smarter way to think about security. The problems with the old castle and moat security model led to a new and much simpler idea. This new idea is called Zero Trust. The name tells you everything you need to know about its core principle. It operates on a single, powerful rule: never trust, always verify. It doesn't matter who you are, where you are connecting from, or what you are trying to access. Every single request to see or use information must be checked. Zero Trust assumes that threats can come from anywhere, including from inside the network itself. It gets rid of the old idea of a trusted inside and an untrusted outside. In a zero-trust world, there is only one zone, an untrusted one. Think of it this way. In the old model, getting inside the castle walls was the only thing that mattered. In the zero-trust model, there are no safe zones inside the castle. Every room has its own locked door and its own guard. To enter any room, you must prove who you are and that you have permission to be there. It doesn't matter if you just came from the room next door, you must be verified again. This constant checking is the heart of Zero Trust. It dramatically reduces the risk of an attacker moving freely through a network after getting past the first line of defense. Each step they take requires a new key, making it much harder to reach valuable data. This approach changes the focus of security from protecting a location to protecting the data itself. Instead of building a wall around the whole office, we put a lock on every single file cabinet. Access is given on a need-to-know basis. A person in the sales department might need to see customer contact information, but they do not need to see the company's financial records. Zero Trust ensures they can only access the specific information required for their job, and nothing more. This is known as the principle of least privilege. By giving users the minimum level of access necessary, we limit the potential damage if their account is ever compromised by an attacker. So how does the system verify everyone all the time? It uses multiple factors to confirm a user's identity. It doesn't just ask for a password, it might also check the user's location, the health of their device, the time of day, and the type of data they are requesting. For example, if someone tries to log in from an unusual country in the middle of the night, the system will see that as suspicious. It will then require extra proof of identity or block the access attempt altogether. This continuous, multi-layered verification process makes it incredibly difficult for anyone, even a clever attacker, to pretend to be someone they are not. To understand how zero trust works in the real world, let's go back to the idea of a secure building. Imagine a top-secret government facility. When you arrive, you show your ID at the main gate to get onto the property. But your journey doesn't stop there. To enter the main building, you need to swipe a key card and enter a PIN. Once inside, if you want to go into a specific laboratory, you need to pass a fingerprint scan. If you need to access a sensitive computer in that lab, you have to enter another, different password. At every single step, you are required to prove your identity and your authorization. This is exactly how zero trust operates in a digital environment. Let's consider a more common example. A company employee working from home. In the past, they might have connected to the company network using a simple password. Once connected, they had access to almost everything. With zero trust, the process is much more secure. When the employee tries to open a sales report, the system first checks their identity. It might send a code to their phone that they must enter. This is called multi-factor authentication. Then, the system checks their device. Is their computer's security software up to date? Are there any signs of a virus? Only if the user and their device are verified will the system grant access to that single sales report. This process is repeated for every action. If the same employee then tries to access the customer database 5 minutes later, the system will check them all over again. It re-verifies their identity and permissions for that specific resource. It might seem repetitive, but this constant verification is what makes the system so strong. It means that even if an attacker managed to steal the employee's password, they would be stopped when asked for the phone code. And if they somehow managed to take over the employee's computer, they would still be blocked from accessing resources that the employee themselves is not authorized to see. This approach also helps protect against internal threats. Sometimes the danger isn't from an outside attacker, but from a current or former employee who decides to do harm. In the old model, a disgruntled employee with valid network access could cause massive damage. They could steal or delete huge amounts of data because their access was broad and trusted. Under zero trust, their access is limited only to what they absolutely need for their job. They cannot wander into digital areas where they don't belong. Every attempt to access a new file or application is logged and checked, making it much harder to misuse their position without being detected quickly. Today's world is more connected than ever before. We work from home, use public Wi-Fi at coffee shops, and store our data in the cloud. The old idea of a secure inside of a network is gone. The network is now everywhere. This new reality makes the traditional security model obsolete and dangerous. Attackers are more sophisticated than ever, and they are constantly looking for new ways to get past our defenses. They can steal passwords through fake emails, install malicious software on our devices, or exploit weaknesses in our home networks. Relying on a single wall for protection is like trying to guard a city that has no borders. Zero trust is built for this modern, borderless world. It acknowledges that we can no longer trust a user simply based on their location. Someone working from home is not less trustworthy than someone in the office, but their connection is potentially less secure. Zero trust addresses this by treating every connection with the same level of suspicion. It doesn't matter if you are at your desk in company headquarters or on a laptop in a hotel lobby. You must prove who you are and what you are allowed to do every single time. This is essential for protecting data that is spread across many different locations and devices. The shift to remote work and cloud services has made zero trust a necessity, not just an option. Companies no longer have full control over the networks their employees use. An employee's home Wi-Fi could be insecure, or their personal device could be shared with family members. The zero trust model protects the company's sensitive data by focusing on securing access to the data itself, not the network. By verifying every user and every device for every request, it builds a security perimeter around the data, which follows the data wherever it goes. This ensures that only authorized people on secure devices can access it. In the end, zero trust is about being smart and realistic. It moves us away from a world of blind trust to a world of constant intelligent verification. It protects us not only from outside attackers, but also from internal threats and simple human error. In an age where a single data breach can cost a company millions of dollars and ruin its reputation, we can no longer afford to leave our digital doors unlocked. By adopting the principle of never trust, always verify, we create a much more resilient and secure environment for our information. It is the necessary evolution of security for our deeply interconnected digital lives. Follow and subscribe REDEAGLEBOX.